Hello there, this is Victor Santana at StockHunters.com for Thursday, October 20th. Here we are looking at the S&P 500, the chart of the SPY, and each day representing one day of trading going back as far as 3 months. Okay, here we are. Today we had a 0.4% gain in the markets today here, as you can see right here on this last candle. We are still again trading between these two trend lines here. One that represents this top right here, this top one up here, and this bottom trend line that represents this connection from here to here. So we're still trading in this small trend area. Now one thing I do want to note as well, we look like we are forming a triangle here. Let's get this triangle drawn. And as you could see, it's going to be looking for a breakout sooner or later, either to the downside or upside. Tomorrow being options expiration, it's going to be very difficult which way the market will swing. So we just got to watch these levels here and go from there. Looking at the RSI, we are now back under the 70 line here. However, we do have the RSI kind of flipping back to the upside slightly. However, it's still below the moving average within this RSI. So we're getting lower highs, so we'll see if we could break out higher back up to this area, which will probably reinforce the move back up this way to the top side. Looking at the MACD, we are still trending slightly lower, and we're looking at the histogram bars here, and we are still have a red bar, or as some people call it, a red tick. So we are still trading above the zero line, which is good, but we got the red tick, which means for the short term we have the bearish bias to the downside. Let's go ahead and look at the other indices. Let's look at the Dow. If it could refresh itself quickly. There we go. Okay, looking at the Dow here, we don't have as much of a triangle pattern. Looks like we have a higher base, which we may pop up a little higher in this area. Based on the chart patterns, we do have the RSI now touching or starting to intersect the red moving average here within the RSI. MACD still pointing down. We still having the red bar to the downside. So it's going to be kind of hard. We have a downside here. This is a possible get ready for the upside, but it could turn down. And this one here with this kind of formation here could be for the upside. So we got an upside, neutral, and a downside. So it's all neutralized. We'll just have to wait and see what will happen. Again, our high could be, our target range will be up here, low will be down here. Let's go ahead and look at the Nasdaq. And it's refreshing. Here we go, it's coming. Any day, there we go. Nasdaq. You can see with the Nasdaq, we've been coming down. It is down slightly, 0.5%, and we almost touched the bottom trend lines here. Now this could be considered almost close enough to give us a bounce to the upside. So we'll just have to wait and watch. We're still within this little channel here. Looking at the RSI, we are still pointing downward, and MACD is pointing downward with the bar now getting bigger on the red side here. So we have bearish tone, and a bullish tone here. So we have more to the bias to the bears. Now let's go ahead and look at the Russell's 2000, and as you can see here, it did touch practically the bottom 18-day moving average, definitely sliced through the 50-day. However, it reverted back, so we have this formation here, which is pretty much called a dragonfly doji. So there was a lot of buyers down in this area, and we're still stuck between these two trend lines down here. Looking at the RSI, it is now um, flattened out, but it's still under the red moving average, so it's neutralizing itself here. MACD still slightly pointing down. We still have the negative red bar, so we have bearish tone here, neutral, and here it looks like it wants to be kind of bullish, so it neutralizes itself. So we'll have to wait and watch which way the market's gonna tell us it wants to go. And now let's go ahead and look at the global stocks. Looking at this globally here, we're kind of trading slightly downward. We did get a positive of 0.2%, virtually almost flat. We're still under this trend line that goes all the way back over here. We have the moving averages now sloping upward and now intersecting, which will be a lot of support in this area. RSI is now angled upward but still under the red moving average. MACD still continues to go down, and we still have the red bar here. So there's still a little bit of momentum pushing down to the downside. So we may be able to touch this, or we may be able to go up here. So it's so hard to tell. And I think I covered everything here. Now let's go over to our positions real quick. And we'll start with the gold. DZZ, the inverse shorting gold. And in this case here, we are now right at the money, even depending on where you got in. You could be just slightly under, ever so slightly. And we do have a small doji up here, meaning indecision with the gap up. So this is going to be tricky if we could break above this or break below the 20. So looking at the RSI though, we are now in the overbought range with the red moving average here speeding upward here. So once they start intersecting, then that's where we get a higher probability of selling. Looking at the MACD, we do show a positive momentum, the bar here, green bar, so that's a good thing. So there might be momentum pushing it to the upper end of this area, so we'll just watch and see. Let's go ahead to the inverse ETF of energy, and this one's the lagging of the rest of what we have entered in here, and just continued on, and we got down 2% here. So pretty much I would say that if we close below this line down here, the lows, that will be my exit. Just get out of the trade and move on to something else. We are still showing a little bit of the divergence here, so we may bump our heads up in this area. We also now finally got a green positive bar here, as you can see. So there's still a little bit of hope. Now let's go to the financials inverse, FAZ, and this one also went down 4.6%. And as you could see, we are right here. Uh, could be forming next leg down, so this might be of some caution. And RSI just bouncing around at the bottom down here. So we'll have to watch this carefully. And the bar now has disappeared. It's flattened out. So momentum is now neutralized, and the MACD down here is down on the bottom part. So this might be getting weak here, but we'll just watch and see. Sometimes we get a surprise pop, but definitely if we close below down this in this area here, we will then exit the trade. Now let's go to Las Vegas Sand, LVS. If the system could refresh itself fast enough. Here it comes, it's coming. On this one here, we got a 6% gain on this short. Here it is. And as you could see, we entered right here at this area. Took a while, traded sideways, and then finally it dropped. And we got out with a 6.2% gain on this. So we'll go ahead and close this and move on for the next trade. Now we're going to go and look at the inverse of the Nasdaq, QID. System's running a little slow for some odd reason. There it is. Nope, not quite. Well, it says QID here. Now we got the chart. Just took a while to refresh. We've gotten all the way up to here, broke above it, but then pulled back down. It was kind of hard for us people that have regular jobs to catch this, but we still have the RSI still moving upward. We still got that positive momentum in down here, so we still have hope that we could probably see another pop up sooner or later. Now let's go look at the SDS trade. That one moved a lot quicker, and as you can see here, it's pulling back further down here, flattening out. RSI still bouncing at the bottom. MACD is at below the zero line. However, we do have the little green bar here, but they're pretty flat, so there hasn't been enough momentum to get this going up. If we do, we could see it reach around in this area. Chances are we might be able to get out with a small loss. Okay, SPXU, which is virtually the same as SDS, shorting the S&P 500, but this is triple leverage. Pretty much the same story here. We got in with two positions here, one right here, one here, and we are ever so slightly near the positive on here, so we just need one good little push up in this area. RSI still floating around near the bottom area, and MACD is curving upwards with the green bar as well, but it's pretty flat, the green bar, so you don't see the momentum pushing up higher. So we'll have to wait and see on this. And then finally, TVA, which is the small caps short, and this one here we have virtually the same story as the QID. We got that pop within the day, and we could have had the opportunity of getting out with a profit on these last two positions, and then it pulled back down. RSI is still slightly sloping toward the higher end. MAC pushing up, and we got that green bar here. So we'll just have to wait and see. A lot of ifs, because of the markets being so up and down-ish, so we'll have to wait tomorrow and see what how it will play out, and then we'll resume back to hopefully a normal trading pattern next week. All right, until next time, take care and keep your eyes on the markets.